Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another game seminar video. Got a very special video for you today. I recently partnered up with YouTubers GameOverJesse and NintendoBox. Two awesome guys, really talented. They produce really good videos. NintendoBox does like history videos on Nintendo and similar videos to mine, like discussions and thoughts, and so does Jesse. Jesse's sort of more towards the Zelda aspect of stuff, which is amazing because Zelda's an amazing series, so you should definitely go and check both of their channels out. But Jesse organised this and got us all together in a Skype call, and we just recorded for an hour, like discussing loads of different topics, like Zelda Wii U, the future of Zelda Wii U with regard to like the NX and stuff like that, NX predictions and thoughts on what the next system should be, and also just other discussions about Zelda and its future on different platforms and stuff like that. So Jesse's uploaded some videos to his channel, so I'll link them down below, and I'll link you to all the guys' channels down below. But without further ado, this video is going to be the NX discussion, where we just talk about our predictions and thoughts on the NX, and it was really good fun doing it, and so I hope you enjoy it. And there should be other videos to come, but again, you can just check the description of this video and there'll be links to all the subsequent videos as well as this one. But yeah, without further ado, enjoy. Muchos gracias, amigos, amiibos, amiibros.
Alright, so moving on to Nintendo's next generation console, They teased about the NX, and before we get into it, I want to sort of share my thoughts on it, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
No problem.
Yeah, sure.
I think, now, one big thing that people are leaning towards, or they keep bringing up, is that the NX is not a successor to the Wii U, and that it is supposed to be a third platform that is going to be supported alongside the Wii U.
Yeah.
And to me, that just sounds like marketing speech, because I remember an article that I read recently where it was comparing that to the Game Boy Advanced and the Nintendo DS, and what Nintendo said was basically the same thing. They released the Game Boy Advanced, and then about 3 years later, they announced the Nintendo DS, and everybody that had already bought the Game Boy Advanced were basically feeling ripped off.
Yeah.
And Nintendo said, no, this is something different. It's not the successor to the Game Boy Advance. That's why it's not called... It doesn't have Game Boy in the title. Yeah. Like the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. And that's pretty much what they were using for proof, I guess you could say, is that it doesn't have Game Boy in the title. That's why it's the Nintendo DS. But obviously now we all know that it was the successor for it, and they just wanted people to keep buying games for the Game Boy Advanced while they kept buying the Nintendo DS's. And with them saying they're not, or they're going to support the NX alongside the Wii U, that's what every company does. Even if you look at Microsoft or Sony, for example, every system they come out with, like right now they have the PlayStation 4, they're still releasing games for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So they're supporting those two consoles alongside each other, when the PlayStation 4 is obviously a clear successor to the PlayStation 3. Yeah. So I don't see why people taking quotes from Nintendo is their proof that it's not going to be a successor.
Yeah.
And in terms of what the NX does, it was announced at the same time they announced their mobile partnership, and they were going to be making mobile games.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a device, pretty much what the Wii U should have been, to where you're playing a game and you can either play it on your TV, or if you have Wi-Fi, you can leave and then it'll stream straight to your Wii U or the gamepad. And then if you don't have Wi-Fi, then you can still play games. Maybe it has like 3DS compatibility built into it, or there's less powerful games that you can play on it. Maybe the mobile games they're talking about, you can download and play them on the Nintendo NX. So if you're on the go and you don't have Wi-Fi to connect to your console, you can just play the mobile games on the NX. Similar to the remote play between the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so... Oh.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, go, you can go.
Okay, so my opinion on it is that with this whole thing of it being like a third pillar to Nintendo's gaming, they did that before, like you said, with the DS and the Game Boy Advance. And it was just, or at least to me, it seemed like it was just so that they could kind of hold their own backs and say, well, if this thing doesn't work out, which as we know it did work out, it worked out smashingly and the DS was a huge success, then we can go back to the Game Boy line of consoles and it's no worry. We'll just say that that was an experiment and it didn't go right. But I kind of think they're going to do this with the NX, and I think that's what they're going with the whole, it's not a simple replacement for the 3DS or Wii U. But the thing is that the GBA was definitely a success for Nintendo. Especially at the time it was selling loads. But the Wii U was never a success for Nintendo. It hasn't been a success at all. It must be on course to be Nintendo's worst selling home console. But I don't know. I think it's definitely what you're talking about with the whole crossover, the whole Nintendo Fusion idea. And I really do think that whereas the Wii U has all of its hardware in the actual console, and it just tethers wirelessly to the gamepad, this one might be a Wii U, but in reverse, where you can just put it into like some kind of port or some kind of just device that streams it to your TV. And the hardware is all in the gamepad itself. Obviously, the gamepad will be smaller and a bit more streamlined because the gamepad at the moment is chunky. Maybe it'd be a clamshell design, I'm not too sure. But I think that's definitely what they do. And maybe while you're on the go, it's more of a streamlined version of the game. You can't do certain things. And then once you're in the TV, maybe the like hub for it is actually something that can make the hardware slightly better, and you can have the full extensive version of the game. Now that's all dreaming, because I would love that. That would be my ideal situation, despite what I said earlier about just making more of a standard console from purely sales point of view, because I think that would be truly revolutionary. It'd be like what the Wii U was trying to be. And it would be awesome, but I kind of doubt that at the same time, because I think that would cost so much to produce. It's like astronomical in my head how much that would cost to produce. And Nintendo generally like to sell their consoles at a profit, so that means that the console would cost a lot of money. So I'm not really sure.
If you think about the fact that it's sort of trying to merge the 3DS and Wii U together, though, maybe it's not that much of a big ask for the price if you're sort of buying your portable and your home console at the same time. But
that's true.
But yeah, I agree with both what you're saying with like the device which you can tether to your TV. But what I've got in my mind is like, and I was laughing at what you said because I thought Wii, but I just beg to Reggie that they don't give it the Wii name. Like, just please don't call it Wii, because not only is
Wii U 2, man.
Yeah,
Wii U 2.
Is oh my god, and U2 come out and present it, and then like all of their albums are forced onto the system, and you have to have them. I was out before, and like U2 started playing, and on my phone, and I was actually scared because I had never heard like that song. I looked at my phone, and it had just downloaded, and like my phone memory is full as it is, so I'm not happy about that, but that's a different story. But yeah, like, I really hope that they call it not the Wii, because I don't really like the Wii name, and that really did cause a lot of confusion amongst, like, especially to who they targeted the Wii at, like older like people, any family members. Like, loads of people were confused about the Wii U. They just thought it was like a little iPad that you can buy and put on the like with the Wii. Like, they didn't understand what it was, and a lot of people still don't understand what it was. Like, if I ask my nan what a Wii is, she knows what a Wii is, but if I ask her what Wii U is, she'll probably think it's like, I don't know, like a boomerang or something. But like, I want them to call it the Nintendo Entertainment System, like, you know, for a bit of throwback. But I don't know, any name's better than the Wii, honestly, but I think what it'll be is, if you've seen the PlayStation TV, or what I hope it is anyway, if you've seen the PlayStation TV, like that sort of hub thing that you can stream with, that sort of sized device at home, and then like as you two have both said, the device, the handheld device similar to the Wii U gamepad, obviously with the hardware incorporated into it somehow,
Yeah.
and I want it to like be portable, so maybe smaller. I'm not sure about the dual screen thing because the DS, like everyone loves the DS, come on. But I don't know whether, because if you have the one screen in your hand and then the screen on the TV, you've sort of got that DS thing going on anyway.
Yeah.
So if you take it away as a portable, then you've not got the two screens. But I don't think it'll have two screens. I think it'll just be a gamepad similar device. And then as you were saying about like the lesser powered experience when you go portable, I think you could have like the more high powered Wii U HD style experiences when you've tethered it to the device, and then like when you're away you can still play your portable games and like all your virtual console games like your SNES and NES and stuff like that. It doesn't need a lot of power. You can play all your virtual console games on the go. And also, as you were talking about the fact that it was announced at the same time as like the mobile stuff, they can have like, since it's a portable device, they can have all the mobile games on the go as well. So maybe when you get to home and plug it in at home, you can have all your Nintendo home console games, and then when you take it with you, you've got all these portable games that they're going to be making as well. So yeah, but like the only other thing that I'm sort of worried about if they're doing this idea is the backwards compatibility of it, because a lot of Wii games need motion control, and the Wii U's compatible with like Wii remotes, but I don't know whether this is going to be compatible with Wii remotes, because like they've been out for like, I don't know, 9 years now. If the Wii came out in 2006, do we want the Wii remotes being compatible with it again? So I don't think, I don't know, I don't know if they do, but I think the motion on the Wii U gamepad is great. I love the gyroscope controls, and I want that. But I don't want like Waggle anymore. I don't want the Waggle Fest. I think Waggle Fest is over now.
Right.
I think we want just games now. But I'm okay with the gyroscope thing, because if you look at like Majora's Mask 3D on the 3DS, like aiming with the bow with the gyroscope is just an absolute pleasure. If you turn the 3D off, because if you don't turn the 3D off, like you have a massive headache because you can't, unless you're moving your head with the system. But yeah, that helped a lot, the gyroscope stuff. So I'm up for motion control in that sense. But yeah, I'm ready to say goodbye to the Waggle. But yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know whether, like, I feel bad for Zelda Wii U if it's only going to be on the Wii U, because it's not going to get the plays that it deserves. Like, it's not going to get as good sales as it deserves. But I can't see it coming to both the Wii U and this new system if this new system is just going to be a device that attaches to the TV. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have to like try and fit a disk drive in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know
I
where.
think definitely, as far as the whole backwards compatibility goes, if it's merging the two, they should drop backwards compatibility, and they shouldn't have both backwards compatibility to the 3DS and the Wii U. It just wouldn't make sense, and it would seem like a bit a mess
I don't
to
think
me.
that's going to happen. Definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, and also with the controllers, I think it's one of Wii U's big downfalls, which is something that I actually like. But I think in the mainstream, it is a big downfall of it, is that it supports so many different controllers. It's a mess. Like, there's the Pro Controller, the Gamepad, the Wii controllers, the Wii Classic controllers, the Wii Classic Pro controllers, the GameCube controller. It's a bit of a mess, and I think they should kind of clean that up and make it all a bit more like the Xbox One and PS4, in the sense of, here's your one controller, maybe here's two controllers, and go wild, buy those. Because it's not like the Wii where everyone will be buying 6 different controllers.
Yeah, I think they should have, because obviously if the device has a screen in it already, like the Wii U gamepad, then I think they should have like another PS4/Xbox One styled controller, you know, just to appease like the people who hate the gamepad. I don't understand that, because I love playing with the gamepad. Like, it's really light, and I just don't see the problem at all. But
Me either, but I do think that the Pro controller is actually also a really great controller. So
I
if
haven't
they
actually
could
got
just
it, so-
make a second one of those, that would be great.
That'd be good. But yeah.
What do you guys think of the whole Android NX rumor that did get debunked by Nintendo, but that doesn't totally debunk it because Nintendo are pretty
Is that the fact
shaky
that
on
it's going to be
Yeah.
an Android system?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that definitely does support the thing that they're saying about it being a third platform, because if it is an Android system, it's not the next. I don't want it, at least, to be the next
No.
game system, because I mean, to be fair, just because it's an Android system, we all get in our minds like the new Nintendo game system has the power of like a Samsung Galaxy, but to be fair, they can make it really powerful still, but I just don't. I don't want it to be that. Please.
No, me either.
Because I have an iPhone as well, so like I'm like iOS.
Yeah, I'm definitely more on the Android side of things, although I currently own an iPhone because I lost my phone a while back. But
well, if you had an iPhone all along, you could have had Find My iPhone. So there you go.
well, yeah, but no, I don't like iOS. But Android, I think that it could work out because I think that at the moment it's just got a bad rap with the amount of not so good consoles that are built on Android, like the Ouya and the Google kind of console, the Android Fire console. But I think that they could do it well because it is just an OS which is open, and they could customize it to however they want. But I think it goes against what Nintendo do. They're very personal with all this stuff. They like to do it all themselves. And also, it would leave them open to piracy. A hell of a lot of piracy with Android. There's so much of that on there. And generally, I know that the idea that they said they voiced in Nikkei was that it will bring third-party developers in, but all that it'll bring in is developers who are indie developers. It won't bring in the big third-party developers.
Right.
And indie developers aren't a problem for Nintendo. Nintendo have an awesome indie support on the Wii U and 3DS. So I don't get the point in it.
I think the only possible way for them to bring in all the third-party developers that make the big AAA games now and compete with Sony and Microsoft would be to have a bland box like Sony and Microsoft have. There's nothing wrong with having that, but if they have this device, they're not going to get that. But I think if they have the device and they go, well, to compensate for the lack of AAA, we're going to have all of our virtual console backlog, like fling out all of our heritage of amazing games, get these new developers in, these like app developers and stuff, get indie developers in, and like the problem is they just need to focus on keeping on making the amazing games they make, because even though the Wii U's failing, Mario Kart 8's the best Mario Kart game I've ever played. Like, Super Mario 3D World is one of the best Mario games I've ever played. Like, all Super Smash Brothers is amazing. Like, all the games are still amazing, but so they just need to like figure out something. And like,
I think personally they need to expand maybe a little bit. I think that maybe they pick up Platinum, maybe a few of the smaller developers like WayForward do great stuff. You know, you've got other ones like Yacht Club Games. I think that there's a lot of talent out there that they could pick up. I just think they're a bit too stubborn to pick up. But if you look at the Wii U, I think that maybe bar the GameCube, the Wii U has the best first-party library of any Nintendo games console, just personally. Because they're knocking it out of the park with pretty much every release. There's a lot of great games on there. It's just lacking that third party spot. I don't think that's going to come back.
I've often thought about that, like what's the best console in terms of the games, but for me it would have to be by default it'd have to be the N64, because my two favourite games are Ocarina of Time and Mario 64, but I don't really like the N64, so in terms of an actual console, like I absolutely love the Wii U, and I cry a single tear each night that it's not doing well. But I don't know. I think another thing is as well is like they have the two development teams split off, with some doing 3DS games and some doing Wii U games. So if they have this new device system where it merges both, and they can merge both of the development teams together, we're going to be in for a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It leads to a lot more games, and this kind of does. There's more credence to this whole fusion kind of system. With
Assassin's Creed.
Didn't they merge their hardware teams together into one? Like they used to be portable and home console,
Yeah.
and the
I'm not
hardware
sure
teams.
actually. I know they have a lot of different separate development teams inside of Nintendo, but I'm not too sure about.
I believe that was just the hardware teams, like the R&D teams.
Yeah.
But I know that the software teams like EAD and Retro and is it NST? They're all just kind of separate and they do whatever the hell they want. But yeah, I know that the hardware teams did get merged, so maybe it's something we could be seeing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
At the end of the day, it doesn't affect us because obviously it sucks for Nintendo, but at the end of the day, we're happy. I'm pretty happy, at least myself, because I'm getting great games and I like the Wii U. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect us, but it affects Nintendo, and like obviously we want them to do well so that they keep making the great games. But yeah.
My thoughts on the NX using the Android software is that the Xbox One, they say it uses 3 different OSs, one just for the Xbox, and then they have Windows 8 running in the background, and then they have another OS that sort of lets the two communicate to each other. And I think it wouldn't be too out there to say that Nintendo is going to use Android. That way it'll be a lot easier for the mobile games to be ported over, and they wouldn't have to spend a lot of time with that. And then it may not even be just Android. It could be like a heavily customized version of Android. Because if you look at the Wii U, the Wii U OS isn't even that great. Like it does what it does, but it's super slow. It takes a while to. So I don't think.
That is actually a great point.
Yeah, so I don't think Nintendo, like, I'm sure they're great at making their own OS and stuff, but it's just from what they've shown us and from what we've seen from Android devices, the load times are a lot faster. The just clicking on the apps and everything, moving around the OS, it just works a lot better. And that could be limitations from the Wii U itself, which I know they've uploaded a few different patches for the Wii U that made load times and stuff faster. Now you can, before you even turn on the Wii U, there's the quick launch menu at the beginning to sort of address this problem, so they know that it's a problem themselves. So maybe they're looking at other developers for to customize OSs for them.
The struggle is real when you try and put a the struggle is real when you put a screenshot on Miiverse from like your 3DS. You have to wait for about like I always screenshot in the middle of like a Zelda boss and put a screenshot on Miiverse, and by the time I've got back into the game, like I forgot what the Legend of Zelda was. Like it's about 2 hours.
Yeah. And I think with the Wii U, they just kind of all that system. Like I think the Wii U's biggest problem, probably, apart from the name and all that kind of stuff, and now the lack of third-party support, is that they just. I don't know whether you guys think this, but it kind of seemed like they just rushed the Wii U out of the door. Like everything, like the hardware itself and the OS, which at first was so unbelievably slow and clunky, and it just hardly worked. Like it was terrible. And then the slow like trickle of games that we got that first couple of years. It seemed like they pushed it out of the door because the Wii came out a bit early and that worked out well for them. And they knew that they weren't going to be on the same level hardware-wise that the Xbox One and PS4 were. So, I don't know, it seems to have got better over time, and hopefully with the NX they can just, whatever they do for the OS, they can make it that good from the start.
With the NX, the name they picked for it, even though it's just a code name at this point, a lot of people are looking at it as the NX, meaning Nintendo Cross, as in it's a cross-platform or a cross between the Wii U and the 3DS. And if that's true, I think that's a brilliant code name
Yeah.
for it, and it's a brilliant idea. But with the Wii U's name, Nintendo have said countless times that the Wii U isn't selling well, not because of the name. They said the name's not a problem,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're just saying that.
Just
I
Yeah,
think it's not too much of an issue, but like I mean we don't obviously ultimately care when we've bought it, because I don't really even think about the name that much. But if you're going into a shop, like retail customers, which is where they got a lot of the sales from the Wii, like that is confusing for them. Like, and like all us hardcore fans, we actually don't really care because we know everything, don't we? But
we know.
yeah, but like
yeah.
if your nan's getting you like a Wii U for Christmas, like how wrecked would you feel on Christmas Day if you open your presents and you've got like a Wii with like Wii Sports?
Exactly. And then a thing with the names is I actually used to work at GameStop. I don't know if it's EB Games or just Games wherever you
We
live.
have like Game and Game Station, don't we?
Game.
Game
Yeah.
Station's closed now, though, isn't it?
Game Station, yeah. Game Station got bought by Game and then they closed it. Game Station was better than Game as well, so it's sad.
So I used to work at a GameStop here, and then after I worked there, I worked at another local used video game store. And there would be people coming in all the time, not having any idea what the Wii U was. They would see the controller hanging up on the wall or the picture on the box, and they would think that it was like another add-on or another controller for the Wii, because the
Yeah.
Wii had the weird sports gun that it
Yeah.
had. They had the golf club and like all these different attachments for it, and they think it's just if you don't want to play on TV, you can buy this and you can play your Wii on the
Yeah.
handheld. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And them saying that the name isn't the issue is kind of ignorance
Yeah.
on their part, because even with the 3DS, and I kind of went into this on one of my videos, but it's like they have the 3DS and then the 3DS XL.
Yeah.
Now they have the new 3DS XL, and they have
They've actually got worse. I don't know how.
That's
Yeah.
actually like the amount of people that have said like, "Oh, can't I buy this? Can't I buy Mario Kart 7 for my DS?" But like they don't understand that it's not just the 3D gimmick. It's a lot more superior in terms of power as well. Because if you look at the difference between Mario
Personally, I
Kart,
don't.
because if you look
Sorry.
if you look at the difference between Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 7, like the visuals are really different. Like it's a lot better.
Yeah,
And then-
personally, I don't get the whole people thinking that the 3DS is just a DS. That's the one I don't get. I think that name is different enough to like, make it its own console.
Well-
That's the one that I never got.
You
I
have
did
to
get
look
that to
at-
start with.
You have to look at there's the DS and then there's the DSi.
Yep.
So people
What's
may
the thing?
think just because, like with the 3DS, if you look at the box and everything, you can tell that it's a different system. It has the analog stick on it, or the whatever it's called on the 3DS, and then the wide screen on top, and then the 3D effect and everything. So if you look at it visually, you can tell that it's different.
Yeah.
But when you have the DS, the DSi, the DSi XL, why would you not think just because it has 3 at the beginning of it that
Yeah.
it's a new system?
Yeah.
You would think that it's just another reiteration of what's already been. And it's the same thing with the name of the games, because as I was saying, I went into this on one of my videos, and it's like there's new Super Mario Bros. That you can
Yeah.
play on the 3DS and the new 3DS, but then there's games without new in the title that can only play on the new 3DS.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2DS,
Yeah.
which is the same, but it can't play games in
3D.
3D, but it also can't play the games for the new 3DS. So I don't know, it's their whole system of naming, it's like they put no thought at all into it.
Yeah.
It's very true.
I just want.
Yeah, and
Oh.
sorry.
Go on.
You
You're
go.
so eager to talk, aren't you? No, I just hope that the new device thing is differentiated from the Wii era and the 3DS era. Like, okay, that there are amazing systems, yeah, but this is new. This is a new thing, because I think that'll help them in terms of sales as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, definitely, because I think that people have kind of got caught up with the Wii and the DS era now. When you look back, most people think that that is for kids, and it means that people think that the Wii U's for kids and the 3DS is for kids. And or while they're family friendly, not necessarily, and I think it's actually hurting them at this point. And as far as the like whole stupid naming with the 3DS goes, I also just think it's confusing that you can play Majora's Mask 3D on the 2DS.
Yeah.
Like, that is bad naming.
Yeah.